Linda and Sixto Valdez, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, when I was reading your book, I thought, well, love could be so simple. You find someone, you fall in love, you get married, and that's it. But in your case, it was completely different. Linda, can you tell me, how did you meet Sixto?
I met Sixto when I took a trip to Mexico with my mother, and I honestly wasn't expecting much to happen on that trip. We took the train trip through Copper Canyon, and I met him there. So we rode the train back together and got to talking, and that's how we met.
At what point, Linda, did you think that this was going to be more than just a friend? At what point both of you decided to get married?
Well, I can tell you at what point I fell in love with him. It was when we stopped on the train ride. We stopped in Saracawi, and we went up there one morning. We climbed up the bell tower and sat there, and he sang me a song, and that was it. I was in love from that moment on.
All right, so what happened afterwards, Sixto? Because you were living in Mexico, Linda, you were here in the United States. So what happened? You wanted to come and visit Linda, but then you didn't have a visa, right?
That's right. You know, one point very important is that I never wanted to come to the U.S. illegally. So we worked on the visa.
And then what happened with the visa? Was it denied?
Yes, no explanation whatsoever.
And then I suppose love was stronger. So you came here illegally. Did you cross the border illegally just to come and visit Linda?
Yes, through the hole in the fence, and 2 weeks later we got married.
So both of you, Linda, got married. He was undocumented. So what was going through your mind? What was the plan?
I really didn't think it through. I was in love, and we got married. And we didn't tell anybody, we just got married, and then we told my mom. And then shortly thereafter, we began the process to get him a green card, and that was a long process we had to go through. It took about 9 months or so, and then we got an appointment in Tijuana. So we went there, and that was kind of it was a very frightening proposition because we had to cross the border together, but he still didn't have his papers. So if they didn't give us the visa at that point in Tijuana, I was going to be coming back by myself.
Now, Linda, most of the time in the book, Crossing the Line, is spent in Mexico, the time when you went to visit Sixto's family. And you recognized, you acknowledged that there were a lot of misconceptions that you had about Mexico. Can you tell us about them?
Well, it's sort of a situation where you grow up in this country and you have a certain image of Mexico, and it's a very superficial image. You hear a lot of negative things about Mexican people and Mexico, which is one of the reasons that I decided to write the book, because I was so tired of hearing all the negativity. And when I met Sixto's mom and my other in-laws and the people who lived in his community, they were such wonderful, welcoming people. They embraced me from the beginning.
Now, Linda, you say that they embraced you. However, they didn't speak English, and your Spanish was not the best. So how was that communication?
You know, it's an odd thing. It was a communication by emotion, I guess. My mother-in-law from the beginning insisted I could speak Spanish when I would, Doña Sola, yes, when I would speak my little pidgin Spanish to her, she was, you know, she was right there with me, and I could understand her when she spoke to me.
Sixto, you said that you never planned of ever living in the United States. So Linda was telling us about the misconceptions that she had about Mexico. How about the misconceptions that you had about the United States?
One of them was that everybody was rich. And when I got here, I saw homeless in the parks. And in Mexico, we have some homelessness, but you know, the extended family is always around to help.
Let me ask you each one a little bit about politics. Linda, you've been very vocal about your opinions about Donald Trump. What do you think is going to happen to Latinos, to immigrants in this country if he gets elected? Are you afraid? Are you scared of him?
Yes, I am. I'm scared of him, but I'm even more scared of his supporters, because what he has done is to validate and energize a group of people that were quieter. They did not think their views were acceptable. If he loses, and I think he will lose, those people are not going to go away. And that's a very frightening prospect to me.
Sixto, what was your reaction when you heard Donald Trump saying that we Mexicans, we're both Mexican immigrants, that we're both, among many others, criminals and rapists? What was your reaction?
First of all, there was anger. I mean, he doesn't know us at all. He doesn't know Mexican people. And of course, we have problems, but generalizing like that is not okay.
And let me just finish, and going back to the book, both of you have a daughter. She's engaged, 25 years old. She's getting married in Mexico. So this is the happy ending, Linda, of the book?
Yes.
It is a happy ending. It's a happy next chapter. And I think we're both really thrilled that she wants to get married in Mexico because
Absolutely.
we have a huge extended family down there, and that way they can all be there the way they were there for her quinceañera. And I think that's really, really cool.
Sixto and Linda, thanks so much. The book is Crossing the Line, A Marriage Across Borders. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you.